everyone, it's Derek Correa here at Members for Members. I'm here with Rhett Dillard. He's a 28-year driver from UPS. We're here to discuss the officers election from 2019, the results of it. I know some of you found out there wasn't going to be a re-election. We were still waiting on word from the Department of Labor. We still don't have it in written form, but yes, we were notified through email there wouldn't be a re-election. So we're going to go over a few things that occurred and why there isn't going to be a re-election. So Rhett, thanks for joining us today. We're going to go over what a post-election protest is, if you can help the members understand what that means.
Okay, a post-election protest would be something that you found out after the election was over. So the election date was December 9th, 2019. So if you found out something that you didn't have knowledge of prior, you would protest it after the actual election.
And now we're going to move over to what a pre-election protest is.
Okay, a pre-election would be like between November 6th and December 9th. If there's something in there happened, you would put it in written form, you would protest it to Teamster leadership.
And why would you ever use the Department of Labor to aid you in any election?
If you felt like the election wasn't fair, you feel like they created unfair advantages, like the local created unfair advantages, then you would contact the Department of Labor to try to get them to investigate the actual election process.
So there's a lot of rules in place in a general officers election. And with these rules, the Department of Labor, they don't like to intervene much. That's the issue with this. They don't like to intervene because the Teamsters put all these rules into place. So just so you guys understand, that's a big deal for us. So what is an election chairman, Rhett?
Election chairman, they have an election committee, and he's basically the boss of it. So he oversees the decisions that are being made by this election committee.
And who was chosen to be the chair of our election?
It was Tomas Mendez, who was an ex-business agent. He's retired from Teamsters Local 542.
Who chose him?
It was the current Local 542 executive officers. They chose him to be the election officer.
And did you protest this?
Yes, when we went on to the upstairs to the meeting right after the nomination meeting, and they gave the key right to him right in front of us, we did protest it verbally.
Okay, just so everyone understands, in the rules you have 48 hours to protest anything. Okay, so this was a verbal protest we made upstairs, and Rhett made this. The issue is, you have to do a certified mail, email, you have to actually do it that way. That's the proper procedure. We didn't do it that way, we did it verbally. So, and just to understand, why didn't we do it certified mail or any other way?
Well, we've had prior issues with intimidation with the local, and we've sent them certified mail, but we've never received any response from Teamster leadership.
So at the post-election hearing that took place in Pomona, we all went there and we discussed the ballots, how many were printed and whatnot, and the California Election Company stated that they printed 10,000 ballots. Now, the records showed during the printing of the ballots that there were 9,400 printed, and you can see that here on the screen. There's 9,400 printed, and then you can also see here on the screen that California Election Company is stating that there's 10,000. So where do you think the extra 600 votes went, or ballots I should say?
Well, since they gave the key to Tomas Mendez, I think somebody probably went down there to the post office because it wasn't a public area. They opened up that box and they put extra votes in there.
And in the rules, it did state, didn't it, Rhett, that it would be in an enclosed area, or it wouldn't be in the front lobby, it'd be in a secure area, I believe is what it stated?
Yes, it would be basically in a sealed room until the election day. That's when we'd go in. I got a real surprise on election day when I went down there, opened the door, it was in a public area, and Tomas Mendez went down there with us, and he zeroed right in where that box was.
And as you guys can see in these photos we have here, this is what it looks like here at the post office. You can see it's right in the front and in the public area. So in your opinion, with the Department of Labor, they ruled that the local created a lot of unfair advantages. I mean, that's a fact. But the problem was that we didn't protest everything within 48 hours. Is that correct?
Yes, they have an agreement with the Teamsters that we have to follow the internal process that the Teamster leadership creates. In the internal process, we were supposed to put it in writing within 48 hours. Then appeal that to the general president within 15 days of that.
And so our local, typically, every year, they bring over 5 million in income just from members due. That's what they bring in. So they decided to pay the California Election Company, I believe it was 15,000, at least that's what they stated to us, correct?
Yes, they did state it, that it was 15,000, but I was kind of surprised in the last physical meeting that I went to that they made an extra large payment to him again, even though I actually thought the election process was already paid for. I didn't understand why they were paying him again.
And we're going back to the strike fund. Our local had a strike fund, and most of you are aware of this. And how were the results of that strike fund?
It was about 70% no, that they were not gonna, the members didn't accept that they needed to take more money out when there's 5 million coming in. Even though they're nonprofit, they could still save money. All you gotta do is investigate any nonprofit, you can see that they can save money.
So now that we've gone, all of us have gone through this, now just so everyone's aware of something, this was the closest election in Southern California history by a slate that ran for the first time. Okay, that's how close this was. So do you have any advice for a slate wanting to run an election in the future?
Yes, what I would do is I would prepare for intimidation. When you go to these general membership meetings, they might get people to encourage them to like talk over the top of you. They might, when you're going around passing out flyers, like groups of men might come up and they might snatch them out of your hands.
And do you feel that there were other members or even management personnel that interfered in this election to maybe halt some of the members from voting for members?
Yes, I've been told by their members that there was management, especially in Chula Vista management, that were highly encouraged them not to vote for us and to vote for the current slate.
And why would management get involved in a union or a Teamsters election?
I feel like they can create like side deals that are outside the contract a lot easier with somebody. They've been working with them a while, they can get these side deals going. Whereas a person or a group comes in and they say, hey, no, we don't want to do that. We want what's fairest for the members. They might not want to go with us. They probably don't.
Now, we heard a lot of TDU when we were running for office. Everything, if you oppose any local, the first thing comes out of their mouth is you are TDU. Can you explain what TDU is to you, Rick?
For me, it's an insider's term. It means too dumb to understand. A lot of people think it means Teamsters for Democratic Union, and there is a group called that. But this is an insider's term. When somebody doesn't think like the local thinks or their thought process, they will label you as too dumb to understand. And that's why they call it TDU.
And Rhett, do you have any other advice for Slate that wants to run in the future?
Yes, I think you should have somebody available who can send a certified letter to protest any unfair actions. Because if you don't do this, the local can get away with anything if you don't protest it in writing.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Just so you know, Members for Members are the members. That's who we are, and we're not going anywhere. Thanks for joining us.